Welcome to Confirmation Bias, presented by the League Ambassadors.
I'm Ambassador Junior Blue, and averaging a triple-double for a season is amazing no matter how you get it, and that's my confirmation bias.
I'm Ambassador Dad, and the hockey assist is very important in the game of basketball, and that's my confirmation bias.
I'm Ambassador Red O, and I want to thank Wanda, Durant's mama, for not brushing her son's hair, because if she did, he might have stayed, and we wouldn't have got this season. And that's my confirmation bias.
And I'm Ambassador Chef Curry with the shot. And I just want to know, was Russell Westbrook really hurt when Kevin Durant left? Really? And that's my confirmation bias.
Really?
Welcome to Confirmation Bias, hosted by the League Ambassadors. As a reminder, remember to check us out on social media across the board at our handle at the League AM. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and on our very own website, theleagueam.com, where you can find all of our content, including Diplomatic Immunity, our page where fans and viewers can submit their own writing. If you have something to say about sports, send it in. We'd like to see it. Maybe we can post it on our site if it's good. For all those of you who are watching on Facebook Live, please remember to submit any questions and comments that you have so we can try and answer them at the end of our show and Diplomatic Immunity. And please download Confirmation Bias. Subscribe to the podcast on Stitcher, iTunes, Google Play, and please also subscribe to our YouTube channel under the League Ambassadors. We have a good show today, action-packed, so let's get right into it. Let's talk about the hot topics. Russell Westbrook of the Oklahoma City Thunder is the second player in NBA history to average a triple-double since Oscar Robertson in 55 years. To me, I don't know about the rest of you guys, but it pretty much cements his MVP candidacy for this season. However, there are a couple things that I'd like to discuss on today's show regarding his actual averaging a triple-double. And although it's a super ridiculous, amazing feat,
But
are his stats inflated? There are some
it's kind of hard to say it's a super ridiculous, amazing feat. Then there's a butt foul.
Well, let me.
It kind of just like feels like it's a shot. Like
It's not. It's not a shot at all. But let me supply some context for you guys. So we all knew that he was going to average double-digit points. That's never a question, right? So let's take a look at assists and rebounds. So with regards to rebounds, he increased his rebounds 3 boards a game over this season to pull him over 10 plus. I believe some of those numbers are a little inflated. And Ambassador Junior Blue, I know we discussed this. Why do you think that they're inflated?
Well, there was a stat that came out last week that said he had only contested 166 shots for the season. That was roughly a little more than 2 per game because he was going to get the rebound. So he was playing less defense. Now, we all call James Harden a horrible defender, right?
Yes.
He's contested twice as many shots as Westbrook.
What does contest mean?
That means you're putting your hand up trying to stop your player from making a shot.
The person had to miss the shot.
They didn't have to miss
No,
it.
I don't mean it. For him to get the rebound.
They didn't have to miss it.
For him to get the rebound.
Yeah, but how many times does your player shoot?
That's some bullshit, man.
It's not-
It's like the man is doing something so otherworldly, and the first thing everybody does is try and break it down.
No. So tell me this. If somebody like Steven Adams, who's a 7-footer, he gets paid to do what? get rebounds.
Okay,
right?
so how many rebounds did Steven Adams average last year? Somebody tell me that.
7.
He averaged 6 this year. 6.4.
You want to know
So
why?
Would you like to know why?
Yeah, but look, he averaged 7, and Durant, who's almost 7 feet himself, was on the team. He only averaged 0.6 less this year.
Let's say this. He led the league in uncontested rebounds, which means that no one's there to oppose him from getting it. He was 64th in the league in contested rebounds.
I wonder how this stat is against with Rodman.
Well, we're not talking about Rodman. We're talking about this right here. And Les has a good point. There's actual video footage, and Kev, I'm gonna swing it to you.
Of Bigfoot?
No, of Russell Westbrook, who most point guards will sit at half court, get instructions from their coach when the opposing team is at the free throw line.
He's not
where
most
he's
point guards.
actually in the paint, and the two big men will box out and let the ball bounce so Russell can come in and get the rebound. Now, Kev, you had some discrepancies with regards to the rebounding as well.
Yeah, well, rebounding, and then we talked about this before the show, his disproportionate amount of control over the basketball in certain possessions. Saw that he's the first player ever, I think, since the 06 rape case Kobe that has over 40%.
Denver, we looking at you.
He has over 40% of his team's possessions while he's on the court. So, like you said, Omar, I agree. I think what he's doing is incredible, but I also
There go that word again.
Hear me out, though. I think he's playing with house money in a sense that not many people expected much from them this year. So they're do or die with Westbrook. So he has a fluorescent green light.
But you know why? Why that statement is bullshit? Because there's a lot of teams where weren't people expecting a lot from that team, and there's one good player. They don't do that. Doesn't like what he's doing, regardless of who's on the team. What he's doing is amazing. There's no but on it.
No, I mean there is some context to that, though. I mean, you're referring to the Smush Parker era Kobe, correct, Kev?
Yeah.
And I'm sure my two compadres to my left and right are very familiar with that era.
Why you bringing up old shit?
But to your point, Kev, he has the highest usage rate, which means he has the ball the most. But he passes the ball the 12th most. All 11 players in front of him are point guards with the exception of Draymond Green. So although he's second in the league in assists, he touches the ball the most. They're routinely the most isolation-heavy offense in the league. They're the fewest passing team in the league. And he's 35th in the league in the hockey assist, which was my confirmation bias, which means he only passes the ball to get an assist. So there's no continuity and flow to the offense.
Yeah, I mean, it almost seems like the intent to go out and get a triple-double is more than, I'm not going to say it's more than them winning, but you watch other players on the team, it's almost like, yo, let's get Russ his numbers first, and then, oh, shoot, let's try to get this 6-7 seed in the West next. Like, it has taken over the purpose of that season. And again, it's great, but I think when you compare it to Oscar Robertson's, and I read something earlier where he said at the time he didn't even get the historical purpose of averaging at least 10, 10, 10 in 3 different categories. I don't even think a triple double was a coined term then.
Well, he actually said that they didn't start doing it to a certain point where they didn't start taking the record until after he was doing stuff like that before they started taking the record. But I don't think they started doing, his team started going for it or helping him, as y'all say, till...
I actually don't say that, though.
He just said it.
No, he said, I don't agree with
it
that.
wasn't until it became a thing, then all of a sudden there was more focus on it. I've always said this about Westbrook, which is I would love to see him on a team coached by Kerr or a space and pace offense. I think I've been proven right about Westbrook. You can shake your head if you want, Les. I think the man
champion.
I think the man has had lack of coaching.
Well, I'd like to disagree with you on that because initially, when all this issue was coming up with why they can't get over the hump, we thought it was Scotty Brooks. Scotty Brooks is trash. Scotty Brooks can't coach. If you look at the rebound aspect again, Russell benefits from some home cooking. He's 11.2 rebounds a game at home and 9 on the road, which is a huge discrepancy when you look at John Wall, who Brooks coaches, and Harden, who play the same position, but theirs don't fluctuate. So Scotty Brooks got
You
Washington.
comparing them to two players.
But we're talking about the same position. You're talking about coaching. I'm bringing it back to Scotty Brooks. Scotty Brooks has the Wizards balling, and they're moving and sharing the ball. The one constant here, because we thought, well, maybe it's Durant not wanting it.
And Wall, Wall is a dominant guard.
It didn't matter where.
Exactly.
It didn't matter if Russell Westbrook was in the game or not. They didn't move the ball at all.
They really didn't move the ball at the end of the games. They lost games last year, last few years, because of the last 5 minutes of the game. Either Durant had the ball or Westbrook had the ball.
I will agree with that.
And they would not pass.
Right.
They forgot about the rest of their team. I thought that was coaching.
Right.
But
Like you were saying, John Wall is a dominant
John
guard, and
Wall,
what happens?
He has the ball. He dishes.
He started passing this year.
He's been passing.
Oh, that's not completely true. John Wall is probably close to being as complete as a
No,
player both.
I was talking about Westbrook.
No, but what I'm saying, and I agree with what Devin was saying, and I think to bring it full circle with what I mentioned to start the show was I believe as much as I didn't like KD's decision as a basketball fan, I understand why he left, because I think what makes Westbrook great and what he brought to that team was also the reason why they couldn't get over the hump. And as Les alluded to, his decision-making, Westbrook's decision-making in the fourth quarter as the primary ball handler was just absolutely
The
terrible.
only reason why KD left was because in the locker room, Westbrook kept telling him to brush his hair, and he wouldn't do it.
Or is it the potato?
It was the potato sack.
Was that shit getting shared, and they got tired of eating that shit in Oklahoma?
Hi, Wanda.
Wait, let me ask you guys this though. For Westbrook, what do you think it would take? Like, what kind of player, or who specifically, do you think could play with him to get them back to the Western Conference Finals?
Paul Gasol in 2009.
So that shit's out the window.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. He's a great player. One thing I love about Westbrook is he is an absolute hog. He's probably one of the few hogs that are left. When I mean by hog, is somebody who just has that old school mindset that'll go get it. When we're talking in a day and age where LeBron and people in the Spurs are resting, he's playing every single game, and he's all they have. So he's like a gift and a curse almost. I mean, you can't win with him, you can't win without him. Slug has said that on numerous occasions, Kev.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you put him with Steve Kerr would quit.
I don't think so. I don't agree. I would like to see it. I would like to see it.
Kev, did you have any players in mind? I mean, I can't really think of someone that could actually be strong-willed enough in this day and age that could take that, because Durant obviously couldn't.
No, I think it would have to start with somebody in the post. As soon as the thought came, it left. I thought of DeMarcus.
No. Hey,
They would be fighting
it would
on
be
the court.
It would be fun though. I would love to see that.
Yeah, I'm not sure, man. He's a tough guy to kind of pin down.
All right, we're on to black versus blue. Sergio Garcia won the Masters over the weekend. Now, this is a 37-year-old who has spent 400 weeks in the top 10. This is his first major. So my question is this hope or hype for him? Is this finally Tiger's out of his way because that's what stopped him earlier in his career? Or is this just luck?
It's hype. It's all hype. It
think
is.
so?
So he's one and done?
Well, first of all, he's been and take this in the context of the top 100 golfers. None of us could ever beat when they're 90. Like these,
Right.
He's for good golfers. He was middle of the road.
But he was top 10.
He's top 10,
Top
though.
10.
Yeah,
before-
but it doesn't matter. He could never win. He could never get over.
He could never win the
There were top 10 people who could get over
he couldn't win
a major. Yes.
But he won smaller ones. The majors was the
He
the key.
has average statistics on certain things that like he was 19th in driving distance, 26th in driving accuracy. Like there's certain things he does that didn't allow him to get over the hill on majors when everybody's focused in on trying to get that championship.
Didn't he have some top 5 finishes though within those
Yeah, that's
75?
why he's a millionaire.
I mean,
He's made $42 million in his career. He just never won a major.
To me, I think it's hope just for the simple fact if you watched the Masters this weekend, he was in the lead for the majority of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then in normal Sergio fashion, he lost it and then came back and tied it to go into that tiebreaker, and then he won it.
See, to
now,
me,
granted, he won because Mr. What's his name? Jeez, I can't think of his name right now. Justin Rose. Thank you, Raina. Shout out to Raina.
To me, he's that.
bogey.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
He failed on that shot, but I mean, he still held it together. So the simple fact that he was able to overcome a hurdle where he's always falling.
Yeah, because he hasn't been able to do that.
To me, he's that.
Yeah.
He's, and bear with me, he's Beyonce.
Where are you going?
Yes.
Bear with me. And I don't mean Beyonce personally, but that pretty girl. The one who you see looks good. You want to date her, but then she knows she pretty, so she tease you a little bit. You leave the house with blue balls. But then she don't know. She don't know you about when you leave the house. You about to call Riri because she bought that work. There were people who were worse than him, who look worse than him, who win majors.
Right.
He's 37 years old, and this is his first major, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is his last major.
Okay.
What do you say, Kev?
I was gonna say I'll try to keep the reference sports related. I look at it like the early 2000s in the Eastern Conference when Jordan finally left. Now that Tiger's gone, if anybody that can prove they can at least get to the dance,
It's open season.
it's open season.
Tiger been gone for a minute, though.
And it's been open season for a minute.
Not for him.
It was his turn. All right. Newsworthy or nothing to see.
Mm.
Lance Stevenson against the Toronto Raptors. 6 seconds left in the game in a blowout game. Goes up for a layup, wide open instead of pulling the ball out. The Raptors take offense to that and run up on him. Little scrum starts.
Throw a ball at him, don't
Yeah,
they?
exactly. A scrum starts. Now, is this the Raptors being butthurt because they got blasted?
PTSD.
Is this Lance Stevenson welcoming himself back to the league? Or is this nothing to see here?
It's PTSD. Didn't somebody score 81 on him?
On the
The
Raptors.
Raptors,
They still hurt on that? They remembered that?
I think it's a combination of all of that, Les. I was happy to see it as a fan of basketball where we hardly ever see that competitive edge. And I think if you got a problem with the guy running up the score, stop him.
Exactly.
Stop 'em.
That's how I feel.
Something about it.
I mean,
I
I agree with you, Kev, that people actually care with, 79 games into the season or whatever it was at that point. I think it's newsworthy maybe because the playoffs are about to start. I know that, the Pacers are an 8 seed?
Pacers are probably seventh.
Seventh now, so they're going to get smacked. But it's going to be something to talk about. He's been out the league for a while, but it's one of those unwritten rules in basketball that you don't do. Didn't he also do that to get a triple-double before?
Yep.
So, I mean, that's that guy's MO. So,
I mean, that's why they signed him. It's not. I don't think it's newsworthy. I just think Toronto is in playoff mode. They're not having that bullshit, and it's time to go.
they should have been down by 17 then.
You're right. You're right.
All right, hit or flop. NBA players are returning from injury. You have D-Wade returning to Chicago. You have Kyle Lowry returning to Toronto. And you have Durant returning to the Warriors. Now, Chicago, they're actually tied with Miami
For the
eighth.
eighth, yeah.
So does D-Wade help them make the playoffs? They got to win one.
It depends on who's playing who.
And if they make the playoffs, will they give the Celtics a problem?
Fuck no.
To answer your question, Les, I think it's a hit for one team. The rest of them can kick rocks. I don't think it matters.
I think exactly.
I think
but-
I think Wade is done.
Okay, I agree with that.
I think he's done. I mean, he came in with LeBron, Melo, and Bosh. Remember, he is older than those guys. So, and he's been through more battles and more wars with his body because he's a smaller guy.
I think it's a hit for two of them. I think Lowry is important
I was just
to that
about
team.
to say, can they make it out the East with Lowry?
They're in the 4th spot.
No, they're in the third.
They're in the 3rd.
They're in the third.
So they play who first?
7?
They play 6.
Yeah, they play 6.
I mean, if they've learned anything from last year, I don't think they've changed much from last year. I mean, I don't think it's worth anything.
Then Durant, when he went out, the Warriors had a problem for the first few games, and all of a sudden they went on that 13-game win streak before they came back. Do they go back to deferring to Durant like they did in the beginning of the season, or do they just add him in?
I think it should be add him in. I don't know if that's what they're going to do.
I mean, Durant makes him in the finals, right? Puts him in the finals?
They were in the finals without him.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they were in the finals last year.
Okay.
I don't know if they lose. See, y'all didn't even have to tell me. Is you with it or not? So, last week, Kevin took a defeat, and he immediately asked for his rematch clause. He wanted his get back. So, his family. So his brother gave him another shot.
Yeah.
So this week, these are our two candidates, the brothers again. And the segment this week is who had the best basketball career, Michael Jordan or Kareem Abdul Jabbar. Now, if you don't think about basketball in those terms, a lot of times Kareem Abdul Jabbar is not mentioned as one of the greatest of all time. Hopefully, whoever gets this coin toss.
Hopefully you catch it.
Yeah, I'm going to try, man. They told me not to use the phone no more, so I'm going to flip the coin. And we'll see who gets who.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Who's calling it? Or do I call it?
You tell us who calls it.
Who called it last time?
Kev.
You call it this time.
All right, tails.
Heads.
Ooh.
Okay.
It's about time, Kev.
So, Kev,
who you
got?
picking?
I'm picking the artist formerly known as Kareem.
Ooh.
He want that victory.
Okay.
So, who goes first, Dev?
I'm going to steal this from you, Kev, but to quote 8 Mile, let that bitch go first.
Okay.
Ready, Kev?
Let's
Go.
do it. All right. So, Mr. Kareem Abdul Jabbar, born at birth as Lou Alcindor, by far has the most accomplished basketball career ever, and that's including his time in college to the NBA. He started his career at UCLA's first game as a collegiate athlete, scored 56 points. He won 3 titles at UCLA, probably would have won 4 if it wasn't for the ridiculous freshman rule that kept him off the court his first year. He was a part of the dynasty that won 88 straight games and only just 2 losses at his time there. And I think what people like to say is that Kareem didn't necessarily make an impact until he came to LA, which is just flat out false. His rookie season in Milwaukee, he turned that 27-win Bucks team to a 55-win playoff team, second in the Eastern Conference. So he made that immediate impact. Ended up winning a title in just the second year after he led the league in scoring. Ended up winning 3 MVPs in his first 5 seasons, and then ultimately decided that Milwaukee was too much of this side of the hand and not much this side of the horse. He ended up getting traded to LA, where the greatness continued. The transition was ultimately seamless. He led the league in rebounds, blocks, and minutes. And then after the team acquired Magic Johnson, Kareem was still the team's focal point, winning the MVP just a year later, 1980, and ultimately broke Wilt Chamberlain's record in 84, and then won the championship and the Finals MVP in 85. He averaged, for the 20 years that he played, he averaged 20 and 10 for 12 of those years. He had the most indefensible shot in NBA history with the sky hook that he can
Fake
still
right,
hit.
go left, sky hook. I'm sorry.
Ask Dr. J. We have it on tape. And at the time of his retirement, Jabbar held the record for most games played in a single season, most points, field goals, most minutes played. The GOAT.
Kev, now, but before we move on to me, when you made the reference in Milwaukee, too much of this part of the hand, it looks
Both
the
sides of
same.
your head the same color. For you, that was the question I was going to ask.
Wait a second.
That was the question.
We can still see the middle finger.
Ready?
All right.
Yeah, I'm ready.
And you forgot highest scorer of all time. But go ahead, Dev. Start.
I said it at the end.
There's been no one that has changed the way basketball has been consumed like Michael Jordan. He's the global icon that every athlete aspires to be in any sport. We have a whole segment on this show, on our history show, that asks, who's the Michael Jordan of said sport? Enough said. He helped bridge the gap between the era between Magic and Bird. He made plays that no one had ever seen before, and he made the visibility of the NBA. He took that to higher heights than anyone's ever seen. We all know about his 6 titles, his accolades, his 5 MVPs, his 2 different three-peats, his 10 scoring titles. People think of him as a scorer. He averaged 30 points a game, the only person ever to average over 30 points a game, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and people mention him as a volume shooter, but he shot over 50% for his entire career. If not for baseball, he might have had 8 rings in the 90s. 8 in a row, actually, where he stopped all-time greats like Patrick Ewing, Barkley, Malone, and Stockton from all getting rings. And Hakeem might not have got his as well if he would have played. When he retired, the entire league suffered. They didn't have a face of the league. Viewership went down and showed that. He affected the entire economy of a sport. There was a study done by some students in college that said that when he did return from his first comeback, that he increased the market capitalization of his client firms by more than $1 billion. Most big-time firms do $10 billion. One person did $1 billion. He came back. He won 3 straight ships. He won 72-10 in the 96 season, and they actually finished the job by winning, unlike Golden State did last year. If he doesn't retire twice, he might have more points than Kareem and more rings. He's the first athlete to actually create a brand for himself to where 14 years after he's retired, it still resonates. He had the first shoe where people were lining up overnight to buy the shoes, and people were getting killed for trying to rob and kill for them. His career is what every athlete aspires to be, and he's considered to go on and off the court.
Now, I'm supposed to be judging today, but I'm going to let the person who brought this forward answer the question. Who won the debate?
Fake right, go left, skyhook. Now, here's the thing. Devin had a great argument, and the only reason why he loses is because he says, if.
If, hey, to quote Slug, the great philosopher, if butts was candies and nuts, Christmas would be every day.
If he would have stayed, we probably wouldn't even be having this conversation. But also, that's why I asked the question, who had the best basketball career, because there's no person alive.
Even go back to high school.
High school. Like, I think he lost only 2 games in high school.
He only lost 2 games in high school, and they won the mythical national championship his junior year, and they were runner-up second.
Yeah, like he has no person alive has had a total career.
Not to mention they outlawed the dunk for 10 years in college because he was so dominant, which is why he developed that fake right, go left. And
one of the reasons why I love this argument is because people are so obsessed with their eyes and all they see, and they see Jordan flying high.
Yeah. It's highlights.
It's highlights. Yeah, it is. But the numbers don't lie, man. The man was dominant in an era where the world was not meant for him.
Yeah.
I saw something interesting about the two, though, that both Jordan and Kareem only missed the playoffs twice each in their respective entire careers. That's ridiculous.
Crazy.
Yeah. So, Kev, what you got for us?
All right, looking on Facebook Live, seeing what the good folks that follow us and help us out have to say. Guess apparently people thought the one hand and the other hand joke was kind of funny. You know what I meant. I do have a question from Big Perm, Eric Cotman, the GOAT, the Beast. He said, he's made a good comment. What do you guys think about the brow, Anthony Davis playing with Russell Westbrook?
Can the brow actually play or step foot on a court without getting hurt?
I think that would drive Russell even crazier because he'd be mad at him getting hurt all the time.
Yeah. I mean, he has to have somebody that doesn't need the ball and can still get his buckets. Like, that's why I said Paul Gasol. He needs a player that Kobe had, where he can get buckets just and not demand the ball.
Yeah, I think the Brow could if he was on the court. It's almost like the Greg Oden.
I think his demeanor though would drive him crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That bitch shit, he's not with.
Yeah,
He's not with
ain't
it.
with no bitch shit. What else?
Not
we
with
got,
the
Kev?
fuckery.
I have a oh my god, I have a comment from Slug. We might as well read it after what Omar said. Slug said, "If his aunt had balls, she'd be his uncle." Hey,
What? That's back to the ifs.
back to the if. The good brother Scott Cameron. I'll just everybody go around and pick one. Question: would you pick Bill Russell, Hakeem Olajuwon, or Shaq? Les.
I'm gonna go with Shaq.
Shaq as well.
Shaq.
We're gonna make that a 4-peat, which the Lakers couldn't do.
Damn.
Who's your team?
The Baltimore Ravens.
Exactly.
Hey, if you don't fly, I don't root for you. Let me see what else we got here. It's got a pretty good ignorant comments. More jokes about the colors of my hands. I don't know if we have time.
We got one more.
Okay, I wanted to kick this back to you guys. If we were to just talk about NBA careers for Jordan and for Kareem, Omar, why do you think he doesn't get the love that Jordan did?
Again, for one thing, Jordan is exciting. And Kareem...
He's an asshole.
Kareem also was misunderstood a lot. He was a giant. Now it's more. Everything is more normalized for you to be that big.
Yeah.
It's okay. Back then, he was the awkward person in the back
That
of the room.
documentary on HBO is great.
He was, and the problem was he was also smarter than most people he was in the room with.
Yeah.
He was a Renaissance man. He was doing things. He was 7 foot, however tall, doing karate with Bruce Lee. But he was an asshole.
He was an asshole. And on that note, that is our show for today. Thank you for joining us on Confirmation Bias. Don't forget to check us out on social media at The League AM and on our website, theleagueam.com. Remember, we like it when you like, but sharing is caring.
And he said, Assalamu alaikum.
And let us know if your bias has been confirmed. Hit us up on Diplomatic Immunity. See y'all Thursday.